The US government has taken aim at what has been a nearly invincible empire, Google's search engine. An antitrust trial swung into full force on Tuesday in a Washington, D.C. federal courtroom. The case marks the biggest U.S. antitrust trial since regulators went after Microsoft a quarter century ago to challenge its dominance in personal computer software. The 10-week trial comes years after the Justice Department alleged Google abused the power of its search engine in ways that stifle competition. The government says Google's practices increasingly force consumers to settle for inferior search results. Well, joining us now to unpack this historic showdown between the internet giant and the U.S. government is Mr. Stephen Kent, media director at the Consumer Choice Center. Mr. Kent, welcome back to Forum Daily.
Nice to be here again.
So, for those who may not be familiar, can you walk us through this case against Google and the evidence that the U.S. government is pointing to?
The long and short of it is that the Department of Justice, originally under Donald Trump's direction and then Attorney General Bill Barr, have brought forward a case alleging that Google has become a monopoly and they are leveraging American antitrust law in an attempt to break apart Google for its dominance in the online search marketplace. So you think about kind of competitors in this space. There are a couple search engines. There's Google, there's DuckDuckGo for more privacy-oriented people. There's Bing, there's Yahoo Search. Heck, there used to be this thing called Ask Jeeves, but Google is the only search engine that is a verb. When people want to search something online, they say they're going to Google it, even if they're hopping on DuckDuckGo. I swear this is how it works with a lot of consumers. Google is just that preeminent. The allegation is that Google has set up illegal contracts with device manufacturers to make Google the default search engine on your devices. So, like right here, I have my iPhone. It is preloaded with Google as a search engine for Safari. The DOJ is saying that that is anti-competitive.
All right, so what's at stake here for Google? How would this trial affect its power and dominance in the online sphere?
Well, what's at stake here is that if Google were to lose in court, they would be forced to possibly break apart. That means Google Search becoming its own company apart from Google Reviews, from Google Maps, from Google and Gmail itself. Right now, Google, like sort of Amazon and all of its different products are vertically integrated, and it makes it efficient. Consumers get a lot of really great and innovative products completely for free. And they also get really top-notch search results. And so what's at stake is Google's entire business model and structure itself.
And can you tell us a little bit more of the defending arguments presented by Google so far in this case? We mentioned the point of view from the US government. What's Google saying here?
Google just began today to tease what its ultimate defense is going to be. So we haven't quite seen everything that they have up their sleeve as it pertains to this 10-week long trial. But what they started to offer up today was documents from within Microsoft and particularly Bing, showing just how prolific it is, the prolific amount of people who use different search engines that are defaults on any given device, where Bing might even be preloaded on an old BlackBerry device as a default, and yet people still switch over to Google. They also talk a lot about how Mozilla Firefox used to have a deal with Yahoo Search going back to 2014, but Mozilla found that so many of their users were then turning the machine towards Google instead, that it just sort of was bad for their product. And by 2017, Mozilla canceled their contract with Yahoo Search and allowed Google to be the default search engine. And that is just going off of what consumers expect. Google's very popular. It's very effective. And most consumers, when they get online to make a search, they expect it to be Googled. But if you have more particular interests or you happen to like Bing or DuckDuckGo, an average consumer knows how to make the switch. It only takes about 4 clicks on any given device.
All right, sir. Well, 2 days of this trial have already been completed. What will you be keeping your eyes on as this 10-week trial continues?
I'm trying to wait for, the DOJ to bring forward any documents or internal communications that really show that Google believed itself to be in violation of antitrust law. So far, what they've brought to bear is email communications showing that product designers within Google and marketing teams within Google thought it would be effective business to have default search arrangements with outside manufacturers, that it would be good for business and good for consumers. But that's not necessarily like collusion to break antitrust law. That's just called trying to make your product number one in the marketplace. Presumably, we're in the business of winning here in American markets. And I'm just waiting for a little bit more firepower from the DOJ because I'm not seeing a very strong case here in terms of consumer protection.
All right, lots to keep our eyes on, Mr. Kent. Thank you again for your time today.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.